Did you know that nearly every shipping container moving across oceans and borders today comes from one place? China. In fact, China manufactures over 95% of the world's shipping containers, an essential backbone of global trade. It's something we rarely think about, but this seemingly small detail is having massive consequences around the world. And today, we're going to break down how China's control over this market is shaping global trade. So, how did China become the giant in container manufacturing? It all comes down to a combination of low production costs, strategic government support, and massive industrial capacity. Decades ago, China recognized the potential of container manufacturing and invested heavily in scaling up production. Companies like China International Marine Containers, or CIMC, now produce the vast majority of the world's containers. And that's no small feat considering how vital these containers are to the global economy. Think about this. Every item you've ever bought that's been shipped from overseas likely spent some time in a Chinese-made container. Electronics, clothing, furniture, even food, almost everything moves through this system. So what happens when there's a disruption? Well, we've been seeing that firsthand since the pandemic. The pandemic caused major upheavals in global supply chains. Factories shut down, demand skyrocketed, and suddenly there weren't enough containers to go around. At one point, the cost of renting a shipping container surged to 10 times the normal rate. What does that mean? It means businesses paid more to ship their goods, those costs got passed down to consumers, and we started seeing higher prices for everyday items. Or even worse, products that simply weren't available. You might have noticed this during the holiday season or while trying to order something that took months to arrive. Now this might seem like a temporary problem, right? Just something that happens during a crisis. But here's the catch. China's monopoly on containers means that these disruptions hit harder and longer than they might have otherwise. And that's because the world doesn't have a backup plan. If container production slows down in China, the entire global trade system slows down with it. The effects aren't just limited to shipping costs either. Small businesses, especially in developing countries, have been hit the hardest. Imagine running a business that depends on affordable imports or exports, only to find out that the shipping costs have become so high you can't make a profit anymore. That's the reality for many companies right now, and it's leading to a new wave of conversations about how we can diversify container production and reduce dependence on China. Countries like India and Vietnam are beginning to explore alternatives. They're building up their own container manufacturing industries, hoping to take a slice of this market away from China. But building this kind of infrastructure takes time, years even. China's head start is so significant that it's going to be a challenge for anyone to compete with them in the short term. So where does that leave us? For now, China's grip on container manufacturing isn't loosening. In fact, it's become more important than ever as global trade grows and the demand for shipping continues to rise. But at the same time, this monopoly is a wake-up call for the rest of the world. There's growing awareness that depending so heavily on a single country for such a vital piece of the global supply chain is a risk. A risk we've seen play out over the last couple of years. The future? Well, it's uncertain. Countries are investing in alternatives, and there's talk of bringing more manufacturing back to Western countries. But the reality is that China's dominance in this space isn't going anywhere soon. It will likely continue to shape global trade for years to come, and businesses will have to adapt to a world where containers are both crucial and controlled by one nation. As consumers, we're also going to have to navigate the impact. Whether it's higher prices, longer shipping times, or even shortages, these are the downstream effects of China's control over containers. The pandemic may have shined a spotlight on the problem, but it's something that has been in the making for decades. So the next time you order something online or see a store shelf stocked with goods, remember this: it all traces back to those shipping containers. And for now, China is calling the shots. The question is, how will the rest of the world respond? Will we see new challengers rise to break China's monopoly? Or will we continue to rely on the same system, hoping it doesn't break down again? Thanks for watching. And if you found this video insightful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be diving into more global current topics and how they impact you in future episodes. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the systems that shape our world.